Alright guys, well we just got to our hotel in Rotorua. I'm not saying that right. Rotorua, as you would say in American English. And it smells so bad in this town. So bad. It smells like rotten eggs because they have hot springs and the sulfur. It's going to be an interesting couple of days. We're here for 2 nights. Angie's just getting us checked in. We're going to check out some gardens and dip our feet. You just get that breeze. Oh, and dip our feet in the hot springs and just enjoy some time hanging out. Kid-free time for Angie and just more fun for me. Haven't ever been in hot springs ever, so it'll be a fun first for me. Come along. When it comes down to it, I don't want to just show you a bazillion pictures and photos of pretty flowers and mud and water, but it was pretty darn cool going to Rotorua because natural hot springs, like nature is amazing. We got to dip our feet in a little natural spring. They were doing construction on other parts, but just beautiful seeing that. I mean, that's not something that I walk around and see every day. And of course some are boiling, and this is just constantly going. Anyway, I sound silly probably, but pretty darn cool seeing all that nature has to offer. And of course being near like the volcanic region like we talked about from the other day at the museum, it's not too shocking that this is here. A lot of mud masks that you can buy in the more touristy shops sell mud from such places, actually from this city. So kind of cool, and also a little scary, or at least intriguing, that you have to be careful because these things can just pop up anywhere. Like it says, it's constantly changing, and when they realize that there's new activity, sometimes they just gotta kind of like pile up rocks so you don't just step into hot steam. Very interesting. So after that we went to biofuel, or burger fuel I guess it is. Angie's favorite burger spot. Burger fuel. They have gluten-free stuff, but pretty darn good. Alright guys, we are in I can't remember my R's right. Rotorua, which is not Rotorua, which when we were planning this, I misread it or something, and so I was looking at it, I was like, oh, we're going to some little island. So today we are going to the Whakarewa. See, sometimes I can't say it right.
You say it well. I have difficulty.
Whakarewa. This is kind of the, I guess, what, on like day 1 or day 2 we went to the museum and there were some Maori cultural things, but this is the bigger cultural, that whiff, experience.
that's the sulfur.
I don't think I'll ever get used to this.
It's refreshing. Once you get used to it, it's just a nice refreshing smell.
I will make sure your husband knows for Christmas to get you a new perfume that is Eau de rotten egg. Whakarewerewa. And of course that very long word at the bottom, that's actually the whole name. Is that crazy? That's all name of the village. It was really neat. I would say out of all the things that I had on this trip, this was probably the piece de resistance. I mean, I loved the beach. I loved finding glowworms. That's probably my second favorite. Hobbiton was cool, but just getting to see the Maori culture up close. It's my first time really being around a Polynesian culture. So take you inside here just to this one village, and very welcoming, and getting to walk around. Of course, they've got the hot springs and people actually live here, and there's also tours. Cool fact, they have to grow all of their food above ground because otherwise the roots don't do well in this highly active soil, as you can imagine.
Now the little house that you see in front of us, that is called a wharepuni. Wharepuni meaning sleeping house only. They were made from our fern tree, the kāponga. The stems were to build the outside of the house. The fern was laid down as flooring. Women and children slept inside. Men slept outside to keep watch over their families as they slept. So just remember, these are just models of what our people used to live in. They were much bigger than these in the days of old. So you could just imagine over 500 of our ancestors living on top of all this geothermal in Wharepuni. We are now entering into the warmest area of our village called the Rahui. Rahui meaning communal residence. This is where our people cook their food, and this is where they bathe.
We had a really great tour guide, so I'll insert some of the factoids I got from her and try to share some with you, but here's where they siphon some of the water off. These are the bathing spots that they plug up and then drain, and so it is done in public.
This is where our people cook all the leafy vegetables.
They build boxes over certain vents, and that is where they cook their food. Why use an oven when nature will do it for you and you don't have to pay for electricity? So they steam all sorts of things, bread puddings, meats, vegetables. Also they have geysers with some regularity. I guess there's a lot that we could have seen if we spent all day, but these two were pretty cool coming up at the same time. Here is, I think, what they said, one of the hottest spot, always bubbling. I mean, look at that boil.
Depict our genealogy, our whakapapa. We didn't have a written language in pre-European times, so our carvings became our stories. They talk about the myths, the legends, the spiritualism. They are also representations of our ancestors who have passed on. You will notice only 3 fingers in the front of our carvings. They represent birth, life, death. If there is an extra finger, life after death. Our 3 main colours are red, black and white. Red for life's blood, black for death, white for the afterlife.
Because of all of the geothermal activity, they can't really just bury their dead as you would normally think to. So they do have to have them all buried above ground. Of course, this was more in the olden times. It has been several years since they've been able to bury their dead on the site, just because of the generations and loss of space. So after our guided tour, we went and were able to enjoy a beautiful presentation of singing and dancing. And afterwards we got to enjoy some shopping and just looking around. Some amber, which is cool, kind of like in Poland, which is dear to my heart. They have their Baltic amber. Now this is jade. Jade is very big in the Maori culture, punamu, and it has significance about how you gift it and where it comes from. So really cool, interesting to research. Won't go too much in depth because I don't want to butcher it with my limited American perspective. But they also have a little geothermal information there, little kind of mini museum. And afterwards we went and we got our corn. You could have gotten like a whole meal that was steamed, but Angie and I opted for the corn. And it was just kind of cool to see that they actually did warm it up or cook it there in that hot spring. And isn't it just, I think it's beautiful blue water. I am just in awe of the beauty of this earth and what God gave us. But it was pretty good corn. On our way out there was a gift shop as well where they had all these displays of this particular type of plant and how it's made and used in traditional ways. Pretty neat. After that we did go to what's called the government gardens, and I think it was genuinely just built for tourism, but hey, it got us there and it was really cool. Beautiful nature, beautiful buildings, and I'll just let you enjoy that without too much chatter. That evening for dinner we went by the lake there and got some fish and chips and got to see a beautiful black swan. It was very windy there, but just enjoy. The fish was great, the chips were great. Angie was a little naughty feeding the seagulls. You'll see a little bit of that, but again, beautiful countryside and just a fun way. Not exactly the beach you're going to go swimming on, at least not from where we were on the pier there, but very nice to see overall. These guys were being our BFFs, hanging out at our head and behind us because Angie was being naughty and feeding them some french fries. Shame on you. The next morning before we headed home, after we left the hotel, we went to what is called Rainbow Springs, just more enjoying nature. Not going to show you a ton of pictures, but some big trout, like rainbow trout, and different fish and birds. A little bit of reptiles, though there's not a whole lot of reptiles in New Zealand.
Over. It has the silver, white colouring underneath. This is a silver. Okay. Maori call it a ka punga. The punga pretty much means the trunk or the base of the thread, and ka means life or growth.
It's cool to learn about the different kinds of plants, especially the fern, and you always see like a symbol fern symbol somewhere, so it was kind of cool to actually learn what that was all about, that it's a specific kind.
200 sounds, has 2 voice boxes, but this is the bird that Maori used to teach how to speak. So many years ago they were able to do over 100 word speeches. It wasn't our mother tongue, so they used to speak our language.
And this here is the largest pigeon in the world. I don't know that that's something to be proud of, but kind of cool. It's a fatty. This place does good about trying to protect endangered species and also teaching about those that have been extinct, such as the moa, a very large bird. So just a little bit more fish and then some more different cool stuff here. So this is, I think, like the only or the main native reptile. Like, they just don't have a lot. It's part of why I think New Zealand is cool, because they don't have this, like the scary spiders. They don't have any snakes. They don't have crocodiles or alligators or anything like that. So anyway, I'll let you take a look at kind of the cool facts about it. Here is a giant piece of jade. Pretty darn cool to see something that large. And then off to the kiwis. I was really excited and actually going to be pretty sad if I didn't get to see a kiwi live. Fortunately, I do not have video of it. We just have like the stuffed ones here because they are very endangered and they are nocturnal. And so there were 3 where you could go in this little enclosure where it's very dark, and you had to be very careful because they're very skittish. So no photography of any kind or video, but very interesting. I mean, only 5%, like their eggs don't hatch in the wild, and they do have more predators than they can handle. They're going to go extinct if they're not well taken care of. But you get to see the family there. There was also information about a giant bird that is extinct, and weirdly enough, placenta serum. Anyway, some other pretty pictures that I took and the variety of things that we got to see there. So I almost passed it up because I really was not doing so well, but I'm glad we did get to go, and I know I would have been sad if I didn't get to see the kiwis. They're very cute. They have very long bills, and it's kind of awkward, but they also, you know, kind of forage in the ground. I've talked about this in another video, but New Zealand just has quite a few, I guess, flightless birds because they don't have natural predators. They don't have a need to fly. And the kiwi is one of them. New Zealanders, you know, Australians you call Aussies, New Zealanders you call kiwis after the bird, which ironically you don't call a kiwi like the fruit a kiwi, they call it kiwi fruit. So had to have, you know, those quintessential waterfall pictures, having some fun, but I did have to use my umbrella most of the time because my back was doing so bad. I really paid for it a few days ago in the beach, or on the beach, without proper sunscreen. The ozone layer is gone over there. There's a big hole, and they take it very seriously, and I should have been more careful. So I tried to make the most out of it. Anyway, we headed back to Auckland, where Angie's from, and that is pretty much my New Zealand journey. This is the part where I end the New Zealand vlog. Make sure to stay tuned for the Fiji vlog, which I'm going to be flying to Fiji in just couple of hours here. I need to be at the airport. This has not been the dream vacation because of my own stupidity. My sunburn is bad. It's really bad. I'm not going to show you. It is feeling a lot better, but it is like erupting in blisters. And I'm not going to go into any more details, but I just don't even know how I'm going to make this flight. I do have my traditional skirt on. See, the front looks so good, and it's starting to peel over here, but the back is a hot mess. Hot mess. Come join me and see if I can enjoy Fiji for a couple days, or if I lay on my stomach in the hotel room for 2 days. Anyway, thanks for joining me. I am so grateful for Angie and her family. They're amazing hosts. Amazing. And I wish I could have been a little more fun and helpful, despite the first aid, but still got in a lot of good stuff. Try to make the most of it. And I'll show you the room. I never did show you the room that I'm sleeping in. It's very dodgy, very scandalous. I've been sleeping with mascots this whole time here. SpongeBob, he's had better days. Why, hello, you. And a minion. Angie is another YouTuber, and she has some videos of her trying on some of her costumes, so you should go check out her channel. Definitely go ahead and subscribe to her. A huge thank you again for hosting me. So many wonderful things and helping me, and taking in basically a stranger that you met on like Facebook and YouTube. Kind of like the name on this channel. I've got some serious lemons of this sunburn, but let's see if we can make some lemonade for a couple more days while on vacation and enjoy it. We'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.